The Silent Strength, Unlocking the Power of Quiet, written by Ambassador Westbrook. Introduction. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, silence often feels like an endangered species. The constant barrage of notifications, the hum of traffic, and the relentless demands of work and social life have created a culture that equates business with productivity, noise with relevance, and constant chatter with connection. Yet, beneath this surface of unending activity lies an untapped reservoir of power: silence. This book, The Silent Strength, How to Unlock the Power of Quiet, is an invitation to rediscover the profound and transformative force of quiet in your life. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of something much greater. It is a space where clarity emerges, creativity flourishes, and the mind finds rest. Far from being a void, silence is a canvas, a fertile ground where ideas take root, emotions are processed, and inner peace is cultivated. In silence, we reconnect with our authentic selves, gain perspective, and find the strength to navigate the complexities of modern life. Science backs this up. Neuroscientific studies have shown that silence has profound effects on the brain. It can promote the growth of new brain cells, reduce stress hormones like cortisol, and enhance focus and creativity. In silence, the brain's default mode network is activated, allowing us to engage in self-reflection, problem-solving, and innovative thinking. Emotionally, silence fosters calmness, self-awareness, and a deeper connection to our inner selves. Many people misunderstand silence, equating it with emptiness, awkwardness, or even weakness. But silence is far from passive. It is active, dynamic, and full of potential. Think of the great innovators, leaders, and thinkers throughout history, from Albert Einstein to Mahatma Gandhi to Steve Jobs. They all recognized the value of silence as a source of insight, strength, and creativity. Einstein famously said, "The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind." Jobs credited his silent meditation practice as a foundation for his groundbreaking ideas. Chapter 1. The Noise Within and Without. Section 1. The Problem of Noise. Noise is an inescapable reality of modern life. From the moment we wake up, we are immersed in a cacophony of sounds, distractions, and stimuli that compete for our attention. The hum of an alarm clock, the chatter of morning news, the endless ping of notifications from our phones. All of these contribute to the external noise that surrounds us. But just as pervasive, and perhaps even more detrimental, is the internal noise. The ceaseless stream of thoughts, worries, and mental chatter that occupies our minds. Together, these layers of noise create a reality that is constantly buzzing, leaving little room for clarity, focus, or peace. In today's hyper-connected world, noise has become more than just an occasional inconvenience. It is the backdrop of our daily existence. Whether we're scrolling through social media, responding to emails, or multitasking between meetings, we are inundated with information and stimuli at an unprecedented rate. According to studies, the average person is exposed to as many as 4,000 to 10,000 advertisements a day. Add to that the demands of work, family, and social obligations, and it's no wonder so many of us feel overwhelmed. The problem isn't just the sheer volume of noise, but the way it fragments our attention, leaving us in a state of perpetual distraction. External noise, the sounds and distractions in our environment, takes a significant toll on our well-being. Studies have shown that chronic exposure to high levels of noise, such as in urban environments, can lead to increased stress, sleep disturbances, and even long-term health issues like hypertension and cardiovascular problems. But it's not just physical health that suffers. Noise also affects our mental and emotional well-being, disrupting our ability to concentrate, think deeply, and connect meaningfully with others. In professional settings, external noise can significantly impact productivity. Open-plan offices, once celebrated for fostering collaboration, are now notorious for their high levels of ambient noise, which make it difficult for workers to focus on complex tasks. Research has found that it can take up to 23 minutes to regain full concentration after being interrupted by external noise. Over time, this constant interruption can lead to frustration, burnout, and a decline in overall performance. Section 2. The cost of constant noise. In a world dominated by ceaseless activity and relentless stimulation, the cost of constant noise, both external and internal, has far-reaching consequences. While many people recognize the physical discomfort of a loud environment or the frustration of an overbooked schedule, few truly comprehend how deeply this unending noise infiltrates their well-being. The price of living in a perpetually noisy state is not just mental fatigue. It is a diminished capacity to think clearly, connect deeply, and live meaningfully. The brain is not designed to process endless streams of information without reprieve. Constant noise overstimulates the mind, leading to chronic stress and mental exhaustion. When the brain lacks moments of stillness to reset and recharge, it struggles to function at its peak. This manifests as difficulty concentrating, forgetfulness, and decision fatigue, a state in which even small choices feel overwhelming. Emotionally, noise exacerbates anxiety and irritability. A cluttered mind filled with endless worries, self-criticism, or unfinished tasks creates an internal environment of restlessness. Instead of fostering creativity or problem-solving, this mental chatter often traps people in cycles of rumination or worry. Over time, this can erode emotional resilience, making it harder to cope with life's inevitable challenges. The physical body is not immune to the impact of noise. Chronic exposure to high levels of external noise, such as traffic or workplace commotion, has been linked to increased levels of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. Elevated cortisol levels contribute to a host of health issues, including hypertension, weakened immune function, and disrupted sleep patterns. Sleep, in particular, is a casualty of constant noise. Whether it's the hum of electronics, the ping of notifications, or the internal noise of racing thoughts, the disruption of restful sleep affects nearly every system in the body. Without adequate sleep, individuals are more prone to illness, mood disorders, and reduced cognitive function. Beyond sleep, the body's nervous system remains on high alert in noisy environments, perceiving even benign sounds as potential threats. This prolonged state of hypervigilance wears down the body, leading to chronic fatigue and other stress-related conditions. The noise we carry with us, internally and externally, also impacts our ability to connect with others. Constant distractions make it difficult to be fully present in conversations, diminishing the quality of our relationships. Instead of listening deeply, we often find ourselves half-engaged, preoccupied with the next task or consumed by our own mental chatter. This lack of presence creates a ripple effect. Friends and loved ones may feel unheard, undervalued, or disconnected from us. Over time, these small fractures can grow, weakening bonds and creating a sense of isolation. The noise, both literal and metaphorical, acts as a barrier to intimacy and understanding, eroding the foundation of meaningful connections. Another hidden cost of constant noise is its impact on creativity and productivity. True innovation and problem-solving requires space. Space for thoughts to wander, for connections to form, and for ideas to emerge. In a noisy world, this mental space is often crowded out by distractions and interruptions. The pressure to multitask, combined with the absence of quiet reflection, stifles creativity and diminishes the quality of work. Research has shown that even low levels of background noise can impair cognitive performance, particularly tasks that require deep concentration. The brain's capacity for focused attention is a finite resource, and constant noise drains this resource more quickly. As a result, individuals may find themselves working longer hours but achieving less, caught in a cycle of diminishing returns. Beyond the mental, emotional, and physical costs, there is a deeper, often overlooked consequence of constant noise: a disconnection from the self. In a world that values activity and external validation, the quiet voice of intuition and inner wisdom is often drowned out. Without moments of silence to tune into this inner voice, people lose touch with their true desires, values, and purpose. This disconnection manifests as a sense of emptiness or dissatisfaction, even when outwardly successful. The inability to hear one's inner truth leads to decisions driven by societal expectations or fear rather than genuine passion or conviction. Over time, this erodes a person's sense of fulfillment and authenticity, leaving them feeling adrift in a sea of noise. The cost of constant noise is undeniable, but the good news is that it is not irreversible. By recognizing the toll that noise takes on our lives, we can begin to reclaim moments of quiet and restore balance. Silence is not a luxury reserved for retreats or special occasions. It is a necessity for mental clarity, emotional resilience, and overall well-being. In the chapters to come, we will explore how to create these moments of silence in our daily lives. Whether it's finding micro moments of stillness amidst a busy day, turning off digital distractions, or cultivating a deeper practice of mindful silence, the path forward begins with awareness. Only by acknowledging the cost of noise can we truly appreciate the value of quiet. As you reflect on this section, take a moment to notice the noise in your own life. What are the external sounds and distractions that dominate your day? What internal chatter keeps you from feeling at ease? Simply becoming aware of these sources of noise is the first step toward change. The journey to rediscover the power of silence begins with this awareness, paving the way for a life that is not just quieter but richer, deeper, and more fulfilling. Section 3. Why silence is the antidote. In a world overwhelmed by noise, silence often feels like an unattainable luxury. Yet, it is precisely this silence that acts as the antidote to the chaos, confusion, and overstimulation of modern life. Far from being an absence, silence is a presence, a calming, steadying force that can reset our minds, recenter our emotions, and recharge our spirits. To fully understand why silence is so transformative, we need to explore its multifaceted benefits and the unique ways it counters a pervasive noise within and without. Our minds are not designed to process the sheer volume of information they are exposed to daily. The endless stream of notifications, conversations, and content creates a mental clutter that clouds our ability to think clearly and focus. This overstimulation leads to cognitive fatigue, reduced creativity, and increased stress. Silence, however, offers the mind a much-needed respite. When we allow ourselves moments of quiet, we activate the brain's default mode network, a neural state associated with introspection, problem-solving, and self-awareness. In silence, the brain has a chance to reset. The absence of external input gives the mind space to process thoughts, sift through emotions, and organize ideas. Neuroscientific studies have shown that even short periods of silence can lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and improve our ability to concentrate. It is in this state of quiet that we can find clarity, untangle complex problems, and reconnect with our inner wisdom. Noise isn't just external. It lives within us as well. The constant chatter of the mind, self-doubt, worry, and overthinking can be just as overwhelming as external distractions. Emotional noise often stems from unprocessed feelings or unresolved issues, creating an inner turbulence that disrupts our sense of peace. Silence serves as a powerful tool for emotional regulation because it creates space for reflection and self-compassion. In silence, we can observe our emotions without judgment. Rather than suppressing or ignoring difficult feelings, we can allow them to surface, process them, and let them go. This practice, often referred to as mindfulness, enables us to develop a greater sense of emotional resilience. As we become more comfortable sitting with silence, we learn to quiet the inner critic, soften self-imposed pressures, and cultivate a sense of inner calm. Over time, this emotional equilibrium empowers us to navigate life's challenges with greater confidence and grace. Chapter 2. The Science of Silence. Section 1. What neuroscience says about silence. In the realm of neuroscience, silence has long been overlooked as a subject worthy of study. Researchers, intrigued by sound and its effects on the brain, have devoted years to studying noise, music, and language, often neglecting the absence of these stimuli. However, silence, its profound impact on the brain and body has recently emerged as a field of inquiry. The findings are as transformative as they are counterintuitive. Far from being an inert void, silence activates the brain in surprising ways, reshaping our understanding of its role in cognition, emotional regulation, and overall well-being. Silence is often associated with rest, and while it does offer a respite from the overstimulation of modern life, its effects extend far beyond mere relaxation. Neuroscience reveals that silence triggers unique processes within the brain, fostering growth, creativity, and healing. By stepping away from the constant barrage of noise, both external and internal, we grant the brain a rare opportunity to reset and recalibrate. This process is essential for maintaining cognitive health, emotional resilience, and mental clarity. One of the most striking discoveries in the study of silence is its ability to promote neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons in the brain. A groundbreaking study published in 2013 in the journal Brain, Structure, and Function found that exposure to silence, even for brief periods, leads to increased development of cells in the hippocampus, the region of the brain associated with memory, learning, and emotion. This finding challenges the conventional assumption that active stimulation is necessary for brain growth. Instead, silence appears to provide a fertile environment for the brain to regenerate and reorganize itself. In a world that prizes action and productivity, the idea that quietude can spur neural development is both revolutionary and deeply affirming. Equally compelling is the effect of silence on stress reduction and emotional regulation. The brain's stress response is orchestrated by the amygdala, which triggers the release of cortisol, the hormone responsible for the fight-or-flight reaction. Prolonged exposure to noise, be it the clamor of urban environments, the hum of electronics, or even the chatter of our own thoughts, keeps the amygdala in a heightened state of alertness. This constant stimulation not only depletes the brain's resources but also disrupts its ability to return to a baseline state of calm. Silence, however, acts as a balm for the overstimulated brain. Research shows that quiet environments reduce activity in the amygdala, allowing the body to lower cortisol levels in the brain to enter a state of relaxation. This physiological shift has cascading benefits. Blood pressure drops, the heart rate slows, and the immune system is strengthened. On a psychological level, the calming effect of silence fosters greater emotional regulation, helping individuals process complex feelings and navigate challenging situations with composure and clarity. Section 2. Silence and Emotional Health. Emotional health often feels like an elusive goal in today's noisy, overstimulated world. We live in an era where external distractions and internal chatter prevent us from connecting with our feelings on a meaningful level. Noise is not merely auditory. It infiltrates our minds through endless streams of information, conflicting responsibilities, and societal pressures to always be doing something. Silence, on the other hand, provides an essential refuge for our emotional well-being, allowing us to tune into our inner world and process the complexities of human experience. Neuroscience confirms what many of us intuitively sense. Silence is not just a reprieve from the chaos, but an active force for emotional healing, resilience, and growth. When we are constantly bombarded by external stimuli, our brains operate in a heightened state of alertness. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, is particularly sensitive to noise, whether it comes from the outside world or the relentless stream of self-critical thoughts. This overstimulation triggers the release of cortisol and other stress hormones, perpetuating a cycle of anxiety, irritability, and mental exhaustion. Silence disrupts this cycle by calming the amygdala, reducing cortisol levels, and activating the brain's parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for rest and relaxation. This physiological shift creates space for emotional recovery and paves the way for deeper emotional self-awareness. One of the most transformative aspects of silence is its capacity to foster emotional regulation. In moments of quiet, the brain's prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for reasoning and decision-making, can regain control over the amygdala's reactivity. This is crucial for managing emotions, especially in times of stress or uncertainty. Silence acts as a buffer, allowing us to pause before reacting and providing an opportunity to respond to life's challenges with intention rather than impulsivity. By slowing down our mental processes, silence helps us recognize and name our emotions, a critical step in understanding and addressing them effectively. The absence of external noise also allows us to confront the internal noise that often goes unnoticed in the business of daily life. Thoughts, worries, and unresolved feelings have a way of accumulating in the background of our consciousness, much like clutter in a neglected room. Silence brings these hidden emotional burdens to the forefront, giving us the chance to process and release them. While this can be uncomfortable at first, it is an essential aspect of emotional health. Suppressed emotions do not disappear. They manifest as stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments. Silence provides a safe and supportive environment for acknowledging these emotions and working through them constructively. Moreover, silence is a powerful catalyst for self-compassion. In a world that constantly pushes us to do more and be more, moments of quiet remind us that we are human beings, not human doings. Silence creates a space where we can step back from self-imposed expectations and societal pressures, reconnecting with our intrinsic worth. This reconnect is vital for emotional well-being, as it counters the pervasive narratives of inadequacy and unworthiness that so often dominate our inner dialogue. When we sit in silence, we are reminded that we are enough just as we are. This realization forms a foundation for self-love, acceptance, and emotional resilience. Silence also nurtures empathy, both for ourselves and for others. Emotional health is not just an individual pursuit. It is deeply intertwined with our relationships and our ability to connect with those around us. Quiet moments allow us to listen more deeply to our own needs and to the experiences of others. In the stillness, we can reflect on our interactions, gain perspective, and cultivate a sense of understanding that might elude us in the noise of everyday life. This heightened awareness strengthens our emotional intelligence, enabling us to navigate relationships with greater compassion and authenticity. The healing potential of silence extends beyond its immediate effects on the brain and nervous system. On a deeper level, silence reconnects us with the rhythms of nature and the universe, reminding us of our place within a larger whole. This sense of interconnectedness is a profound source of emotional grounding. When we are overwhelmed by the pressures of modern life, silence offers a reminder that we are part of something greater, a perspective that can bring immense comfort and clarity. This connection to the broader world fosters a sense of belonging and purpose, both of which are essential for emotional health. Another way silence enhances emotional health is by facilitating gratitude. In the quiet moments of life, we are more attuned to the small, beautiful details that often go unnoticed in the hustle and bustle. The warmth of sunlight on our skin, the sound of leaves rustling in the wind, or the steady rhythm of our breath. These moments of presence open the door to gratitude, which is a powerful antidote to negative emotions like fear, anger, and despair. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, fostering a sense of contentment and joy that enriches our emotional landscape. In silence, we also gain the courage to confront difficult truths about ourselves and our lives. Emotional health is not about avoiding discomfort. It is about facing it with honesty and grace. Silence creates a space where we can sit with our fears, regrets, and uncertainties without judgment. This process of self-exploration can be challenging, but it is also deeply liberating. By confronting our inner shadows, we reclaim the parts of ourselves that have been lost or suppressed, integrating them into a more authentic and whole version of who we are. The transformative power of silence is perhaps best illustrated in its ability to help us let go of past hurts, of limiting beliefs, and of the need for control. Emotional health often requires us to release what no longer serves us, and silence provides the stillness necessary for this release. In the quiet, we can reflect on what we are holding on to and why, gaining the clarity and strength needed to move forward. This act of letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is an affirmation of our capacity to heal and grow. Ultimately, silence is a gift we give ourselves, a gift of presence, of self-awareness, and of emotional renewal. In embracing silence, we create a sanctuary within our minds and hearts, a place where we can return to again and again for solace and strength. In a world that often feels overwhelming, this sanctuary is a lifeline, reminding us that we are resilient, capable, and deserving of peace. By making space for silence in our lives, we nurture our emotional health in ways that are profound, enduring, and transformative. Section 3. The Energy Quiet Spaces. There is a profound energy that radiates from quiet spaces, a type of vitality that isn't immediately obvious but reveals itself with time and presence. Unlike the dynamic, often chaotic energy of noise-filled environments, the energy of quiet spaces operates on a subtler, more harmonious frequency. It nourishes rather than depletes, restores rather than agitates. In these spaces, the mind can unwind, the body can find equilibrium, and the spirit can reconnect with its own rhythm. The science behind this energy and its impact on our mental, physical, and emotional well-being reveals why cultivating quiet spaces is not only beneficial but essential in today's overstimulated world. Quiet spaces, be they a serene corner of a room, a sunlit forest, or a peaceful library, are not defined solely by the absence of sound. Rather, they are characterized by an intentional stillness that allows energy to flow without disruption. Neuroscience shows that the human brain responds to such environments in unique ways. When noise ceases, the brain's auditory processing systems are no longer required to stay on high alert. This shift liberates cognitive resources, allowing other regions of the brain, such as those responsible for creativity, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation, to engage more fully. In essence, quiet spaces create the conditions for the brain to function at its highest potential. This liberation from noise also impacts the body. In noisy environments, the nervous system often remains in a heightened state of arousal, as it interprets even benign sounds as potential threats. This state, while adaptive in moments of danger, becomes harmful when sustained, leading to elevated cortisol levels, increased heart rate, and chronic stress. Quiet spaces, however, have the opposite effect. They activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes rest, relaxation, and healing. Blood pressure drops, muscles release tension, and the breath naturally deepens. These physical shifts reinforce the sense of calm that quiet spaces evoke, creating a positive feedback loop between the body and the environment. On a more subtle level, quiet spaces seem to resonate with a unique kind of energy that promotes alignment and balance. This phenomenon can be partially understood through the study of electromagnetic fields. The human heart and brain emit electromagnetic signals that are influenced by external stimuli, including noise. In loud, chaotic environments, these signals often become erratic, reflecting the disharmony of the surroundings. In contrast, quiet spaces tend to have a stabilizing effect, bringing the body's electromagnetic rhythms into greater coherence. This coherence is associated with improved emotional states, enhanced focus, and a sense of groundedness. The energy of quiet spaces also influences our perception of time. In noisy, overstimulated environments, time often feels compressed, as the brain struggles to keep up with an onslaught of information. Quiet spaces, however, seem to expand time, offering a reprieve from the urgency of modern life. This expansion is not merely psychological. It reflects a genuine shift in how the brain processes experiences. Without the constant need to react to stimuli, the mind can linger on thoughts, feelings, and sensations, savoring them in a way that feels both restorative and profound. In these moments, we are reminded that life is not a race but a journey, and that the present moment holds infinite richness when we allow ourselves to fully inhabit it. Chapter 3. The Art of Embracing Stillness. Section 1. Redefining Productivity. Productivity has become one of the most prized metrics of modern life. From corporate boardrooms to personal development seminars, the idea of doing more in less time has been elevated to the status of a universal ideal. We are surrounded by tools, techniques, and strategies that promise to boost our output and optimize every aspect of our lives. Yet, As the pace of work and life accelerates, many people are finding themselves not more fulfilled but more exhausted, overwhelmed, and disconnected from what truly matters. In this landscape of relentless action, stillness emerges as a radical and necessary redefinition of productivity. Stillness and productivity are often perceived as opposites. After all, how can one achieve anything by doing nothing? This misconception arises from a narrow understanding of productivity, one that measures success solely by visible output and tangible results. True productivity, however, is not about constant activity. It is about meaningful action. It is about doing the right things at the right time with clarity, focus, and intention. And achieving this level of purposeful engagement requires moments of stillness. When we embrace stillness, we allow ourselves to step back from the noise and business of daily life to gain perspective. This pause is not a break from productivity. It is an essential part of it. Imagine a musician playing a complex piece of music. Without pauses and rests, the melody would lose its rhythm, its depth, and its emotional power. Similarly, without moments of stillness, our actions become chaotic and unfocused. Stillness acts as a rest in the symphony of life, providing the space we need to regain our sense of direction and purpose. The connection between stillness and productivity is deeply rooted in neuroscience. Our brains are not designed for continuous output. They operate in cycles, alternating between periods of intense focus and moments of rest. When we ignore this natural rhythm and push ourselves to constantly produce, we deplete our cognitive and emotional resources. This depletion not only diminishes the quality of our work, but also increases the likelihood of burnout, stress, and poor decision-making. Stillness, on the other hand, restores these resources. In moments of quiet reflection, the brain's default mode network, DMN, becomes active. Far from being idle, the DMN is responsible for processes such as memory consolidation, problem-solving, and creative thinking. It is during these moments of mental stillness that the brain connects disparate ideas, generates insights, and formulates solutions to complex problems. By stepping away from active work and engaging in stillness, we allow the brain to do some of its most productive work. For many people, however, the idea of embracing stillness feels uncomfortable, even counterproductive. This discomfort stems from a cultural bias that equates business with value and worth. From an early age, we are taught to fill every moment with activity, to measure our days by how much we accomplish. Stillness challenges this narrative by suggesting that doing less can sometimes lead to achieving more. It requires us to unlearn deeply ingrained habits and to trust in the power of rest and reflection. One of the most significant ways stillness redefines productivity is by fostering clarity. In the rush to check items off our to-do list, it is easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. We become so focused on completing tasks that we forget to ask whether those tasks align with our goals and values. Stillness creates the space for us to step back and evaluate our priorities. It allows us to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important, between what demands our attention and what truly deserves it. Section 2. Practicing micro-moments of stillness. In a world that thrives on speed and urgency, the idea of practicing stillness often feels impractical, even indulgent. The concept of carving out hours for meditation or retreating to a serene environment may seem unattainable for those juggling work, relationships, and the daily demands of modern life. Yet, the essence of stillness doesn't require grand gestures or extensive time commitments. It can be found in micro-moments, brief, intentional pauses scattered throughout the day that create space for calm and clarity. These micro-moments of stillness, though fleeting, carry a profound ability to restore balance, focus, and presence in the midst of life's chaos. Micro-moments of stillness begin with a simple but radical act: stopping. In the fast-paced rhythm of our daily routines, even the idea of pausing for a few seconds can feel disruptive. But this disruption is exactly what makes these moments so powerful. When we choose to stop, even briefly, we interrupt the momentum of stress, overthinking, and habitual busyness. We create a gap, a space where the mind can reset, the breath can deepen, and the body can release its tension. In this gap, we find a moment of connection with ourselves, a reminder that we are not merely machines operating on autopilot, but human beings capable of presence and reflection. The power of micromoments lies in their accessibility. They can be woven seamlessly into the fabric of daily life, requiring no special tools, environments, or preparations. A deep breath before entering a meeting, a pause to savor the first sip of coffee in the morning, a moment to gaze out the window and watch the movement of clouds. These simple acts of stillness invite us to step out of the stream of constant doing and into a state of being. Each of these moments, though brief, is an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves in the present moment. Practicing micro-moments of stillness is not about escaping reality. It is about engaging with it more fully. When we pause, even for a few seconds, we become aware of what is happening within and around us. We notice the tension in our shoulders, the rhythm of our breath, the emotions we've been suppressing. This awareness is not always comfortable, but it is essential. It grounds us in the truth of our experience, reminding us that we are alive and present. Over time, these micro-moments of awareness accumulate, creating a foundation of mindfulness that permeates our entire day. Section 3. The Power of Doing Nothing. In a culture that celebrates business, achievement, and perpetual motion, the concept of doing nothing can feel almost heretical. We are conditioned to associate inactivity with laziness, stagnation, or wasted potential. Yet, hidden within the stillness of doing nothing lies a power that is often overlooked: the capacity to reset, recharge, and reconnect with our deeper selves. Far from being unproductive, doing nothing can be one of the most profound and transformative practices in a world that rarely allows for it. At its core, the power of doing nothing stems from its ability to disrupt the relentless cycle of action and reaction that defines much of modern life. When we are constantly in motion, we lose touch with the natural rhythms of our minds and bodies. Stress accumulates, creativity wanes, and decision-making becomes clouded by fatigue and overwhelm. Doing nothing creates a space where this cycle can pause, allowing us to step outside of its grasp and regain a sense of equilibrium. It is in these moments of non-action that we often find clarity, inspiration, and a renewed sense of purpose. The act of doing nothing is deceptively simple but deeply challenging. Sitting quietly without a specific goal, agenda, or distraction goes against the grain of societal norms and personal habits. The mind, conditioned to seek stimulation and activity, often resists the stillness, filling the space with restless thoughts or feelings of guilt. But this initial discomfort is precisely what makes doing nothing so powerful. It forces us to confront the underlying patterns and beliefs that drive our need for constant activity. By sitting with this discomfort, we begin to unravel the stories we tell ourselves about productivity, worth, and success. Doing nothing also provides a unique opportunity for the mind to wander, a state that neuroscientists have found to be essential for creativity and problem-solving. When we allow ourselves to daydream or simply let our thoughts drift, the brain's default mode network, DMN, becomes active. This network, often referred to as the brain's rest state, is responsible for processing memories, generating insights, and connecting seemingly unrelated ideas. Unlike focused thinking, which requires effort and concentration, the DMN operates effortlessly, allowing the brain to explore new possibilities and perspectives. Many of history's greatest breakthroughs have occurred during moments of apparent idleness, when the mind was free to wander without constraint. Beyond its cognitive benefits, doing nothing also nurtures emotional well-being. In the stillness, we create a space where suppressed emotions can surface and be processed. This process, while often uncomfortable, is essential for emotional health. When we are constantly busy, we use activity as a shield, avoiding the feelings and experiences that demand our attention. Doing nothing removes this shield, inviting us to confront and integrate these emotions. In this way, doing nothing becomes an act of self-care, a way to honor and attend to our inner lives. Chapter 4. Silence as a Tool. Clarity. Section 1. Listening to your inner voice. The inner voice is a profound and powerful guide, yet it often goes unheard in the noise of daily life. In a world dominated by external demands and distractions, the subtle whispers of intuition and self-awareness can easily be drowned out. Listening to your inner voice requires cultivating silence, not just the absence of external sound, but the quieting of mental chatter and emotional turbulence. This silence creates a space for reflection, self-discovery, and alignment with your truest self. It is in this space that the inner voice emerges, offering clarity and wisdom that cannot be found elsewhere. For many, the idea of listening to the inner voice evokes a sense of mystery or even skepticism. What is this voice? Is it simply a product of imagination or something more? In reality, the inner voice is not a mystical phenomenon but a natural aspect of human consciousness. It is the part of you that processes experience, synthesizes knowledge, and aligns your actions with your values. Some might call it intuition, others might call it conscience or inner knowing. Regardless of the terminology, the inner voice is a reliable compass when we take the time to tune into it. And this tuning requires silence, a deliberate withdrawal from the external noise that distracts and dilutes our attention. Silence as a tool for listening to your inner voice is not about detachment or isolation. It is about creating a sanctuary within yourself, a place where you can hear your thoughts clearly and without judgment. In this sanctuary, you become both the speaker and the listener, engaging in a dialogue that deepens your understanding of who you are and what you want. This process can be transformative, revealing insights that were previously obscured by the demands and expectations of the outer world. Section 2. Gaining perspective in silence. Silence is a lens through which the complexities of life come into focus, offering a clarity that can be elusive in the midst of constant noise. In the fast-paced rhythm of modern living, our thoughts are often fragmented, and our decisions can feel rushed or reactionary. Silence, however, provides a sanctuary where the mind can step back, observe, and reorganize. It is in this stillness that perspective is gained, a wider, deeper understanding of ourselves, our challenges, and the world around us. Perspective is not just about seeing more clearly, it is about seeing more fully. Often, when we are immersed in the noise and distractions of daily life, our view becomes narrow and constrained. Problems appear insurmountable, emotions feel overwhelming, and choices seem limited. This narrowing of perspective is a natural response to stress and overstimulation, but it can also lead to distorted thinking and poor decision-making. Silence acts as a corrective lens, widening our field of vision and allowing us to see beyond the immediate concerns that dominate our thoughts. In silence, the mind is given the freedom to wander and reflect without the interference of external stimuli. This reflective state is not aimless, it is deeply purposeful. It allows the brain to process experiences, connect ideas, and integrate knowledge in a way that is often impossible when we are constantly engaged with the outside world. This process of integration is essential for gaining perspective, as it enables us to place individual events and emotions within the larger context of our lives. What once seemed overwhelming or confusing begins to take on new meaning and clarity. One of the most profound effects of silence is its ability to create distance, not physical distance, but mental and emotional distance from the situations that occupy our minds. This distance is not about avoidance or detachment. Rather, it is about creating space to observe our thoughts and feelings with greater objectivity. In silence, we are no longer entangled in the immediacy of our reactions. We can step back and view our experiences from a broader vantage point, recognizing patterns, connections, and opportunities that were previously obscured. Section 3. Journaling as a partner to silence. Silence, as a practice, opens a door to reflection and self-awareness, but its effects can be amplified when paired with another powerful tool, journaling. Writing in a journal during or after moments of silence creates a bridge between the intangible flow of thoughts and the tangible expression of those thoughts on the page. The act of journaling is, in essence, an extension of silence, a continuation of the dialogue that begins in stillness, where the mind and heart have the freedom to communicate without interference. It is here, in the quiet synergy of silence and writing, that clarity often emerges. Journaling is an inherently introspective practice, one that requires time and space to connect with thoughts, feelings, and experiences. When paired with silence, journaling becomes a way to capture the insights that arise in the stillness. Silence has a way of peeling back layers, exposing truths that might otherwise remain hidden beneath the noise of daily life. Writing down these truths allows them to take shape, transforming abstract ideas and emotions into something concrete and accessible. This process of articulation not only clarifies what we are experiencing, but also helps us to understand why we are experiencing it. The partnership between silence and journaling is rooted in their shared ability to slow us down. In a world that demands constant action and decision-making, both practices invite us to pause and reflect. This pause is not a withdrawal from life, but a means of engaging with it more deeply. When we take the time to sit in silence and then write, we create a moment of intentionality. In that moment, we are no longer reacting to the world around us. We are actively exploring our inner landscapes, seeking to understand rather than to perform. This exploration fosters a sense of clarity and purpose that carries over into our actions and decisions. Journaling also provides a way to organize the thoughts and insights that silence brings to the surface. Silence often reveals a flood of ideas, emotions, and memories, all vying for attention. Without a means of capturing and processing these revelations, they can feel overwhelming or fleeting, slipping away before we have a chance to fully grasp them. Writing in a journal gives structure to this inner chaos, turning it into something manageable and meaningful. As we write, patterns and themes often emerge, offering a deeper understanding of ourselves and our lives. The act of journaling transforms the raw material of thought into a coherent narrative, one that can guide us toward greater clarity and self-awareness. Chapter 5. The Transformative Power of Silent Communication. Section 1. The Value of Listening. Listening is often mistaken as a passive act, something we do while waiting for our turn to speak. But true listening, the kind that transforms relationships and deepens understanding, is an active, intentional practice. It is an art that requires presence, patience, and a willingness to set aside our own assumptions and judgments. Listening, when done in its truest form, is a powerful form of silent communication, one that transcends words and fosters connection on a profound level. In a world that often prioritizes speaking over listening, rediscovering the value of this practice has a potential to transform not only our interactions with others, but also our relationship with ourselves. At its essence, listening is an act of presence. To truly listen is to be fully present with another person, to give them our undivided attention, and to create a space where they feel seen, heard, and valued. This presence is a rare gift in a culture that is perpetually distracted by technology, multitasking, and the constant rush of daily life. Too often, we listen with only half our attention, nodding along while our minds are elsewhere. This fragmented listening not only diminishes the quality of our interactions, but also erodes the trust and connection that are essential for meaningful relationships. Silence plays a crucial role in the art of listening. It is in the pauses, the moments of quiet, that true understanding begins to unfold. When we allow silence to exist in a conversation, we create a space for deeper reflection and genuine expression. These moments of quiet are not empty. They are rich with possibility, inviting the speaker to explore their thoughts and feelings more fully. Silence signals that we are not rushing to fill the void with our own words or opinions, but rather that we are holding space for the other person's truth to emerge. This kind of listening requires patience and humility, a willingness to set aside our own agendas and to prioritize the act of understanding over the need to respond. Listening is not just about hearing the words that are spoken. It is about attuning ourselves to the nuances of communication that go beyond language. Tone, pace, body language, and even the emotions that linger beneath the surface. These are all part of what is being communicated in any interaction. Silent communication allows us to tune into these subtleties, to pick up on what is not being said as much as what is. This deeper level of listening fosters empathy, helping us to understand not just the content of someone's message, but also the context, the emotions, and the unspoken needs that accompany it. Section 2. The impact of unspoken words. Communication is often thought of as the exchange of words, spoken or written, but some of the most profound exchanges happen in the silences between them. Unspoken words carry a weight and meaning that transcend the limits of language, creating a space where emotions, intentions, and understanding can flourish. Silence, when used intentionally in communication, is not an absence but a presence. It is an active force that allows us to connect more deeply with others and with ourselves. The impact of unspoken words lies in their ability to create understanding, foster connection, and convey meaning in ways that words alone cannot achieve. One of the most powerful aspects of unspoken words is their ability to convey emotion. A glance, a pause, or a shared silence can communicate feelings that would be difficult or even impossible to articulate. These moments allow us to express vulnerability, compassion, or respect without the potential barriers that language might create. For example, the silence shared between two people grieving a loss can carry a depth of empathy and solidarity that no words could match. In this silence, there is a mutual acknowledgement of pain and the comfort of shared presence. The unspoken becomes a bridge, connecting hearts in a way that transcends the limits of verbal expression. Section 3. Practicing silence in conflict. Conflict is an inescapable part of human relationships, yet how we navigate it determines the strength and quality of those connections. Often, the impulse during a disagreement is to speak louder, argue more forcefully, and fill every silence with words in an effort to dominate or resolve the situation. However, silence, intentional, thoughtful silence, can be one of the most powerful tools in managing and transforming conflict. It allows for a pause in the heat of the moment, creating space for clarity, empathy, and resolution that might otherwise be drowned out by reactive emotions. Silence during conflict is not about avoidance or passivity. It is a deliberate choice to refrain from speaking so that deeper understanding and connection can emerge. In the midst of tension, words often become weapons, used to defend, accuse, or deflect. These words, spoken in haste or anger, can escalate the conflict, making it more challenging to find common ground. Silence interrupts this cycle, offering a moment to step back and reflect rather than react. In that pause, the focus shifts from winning the argument to understanding the underlying dynamics of the conflict. One of the most profound effects of silence in conflict is its ability to de-escalate emotions. When tempers flare, the body's stress response is activated, leading to heightened arousal and reduced capacity for rational thinking. Words spoken in this state are often driven by fear, frustration, or defensiveness, rather than by a genuine desire to resolve the issue. Silence, however, signals a willingness to pause and let emotions settle. It creates a buffer between the initial reaction and the next step, allowing both parties to regain composure and approach the situation with a clearer mind. Practicing silence in conflict also fosters active listening, which is essential for resolution. When we stop speaking, we make room to truly hear the other person's perspective. This kind of listening goes beyond simply waiting for our turn to talk. It involves paying attention to the words, emotions, and intentions behind what is being said. Silence enhances this process by allowing us to focus fully on the other person without the distraction of formulating a response. In doing so, it communicates respect and a genuine interest in understanding their point of view. Chapter 6. Silence as a Path to Inner Peace. Section 1. Silence and Spiritual Growth. The relationship between silence and spiritual growth is as old as humanity itself. Across cultures and traditions, silence has been revered as a sacred space where the divine and the human meet. In the stillness of silence, spiritual truths often reveal themselves, not through words or doctrines, but through direct experience. This connection between silence and spirituality is not merely theoretical. It is deeply practical and transformative, offering a profound pathway to inner peace, clarity, and connection with the deeper dimensions of life. Silence creates a sanctuary where the noise of the external world fades away, allowing individuals to turn inward. In this inward turning, the mind begins to quiet, and the deeper layers of consciousness come into focus. For many, this experience is akin to touching the eternal, a moment of profound connection that transcends everyday concerns and reveals a greater reality. In silence, the boundaries between the self and the universe blur, offering glimpses of unity and oneness that are at the heart of spiritual growth. One of the most significant aspects of silence is its ability to foster presence. In a world dominated by distractions, being fully present is a rare and precious experience. Silence encourages a deep awareness of the present moment, free from the constant pull of past regrets or future anxieties. This presence is not passive. It is vibrant and alive, filled with the richness of simply being. In this state, individuals often report a sense of connection to something greater than themselves, whether they call it God, the universe, or the sacred. This connection is not imposed or taught. It arises naturally in the space that silence provides. Section 2. Letting go of mental noise. The mind is a restless entity, endlessly generating thoughts, worries, and distractions that cloud our clarity and disrupt our inner peace. Mental noise, the unceasing chatter of the mind, is so pervasive that it often feels like an inescapable part of life. Yet, beneath this constant din lies a profound stillness, a reservoir of calm that is accessible to anyone willing to let go of mental noise. Silence, both external and internal, is the key to reaching this stillness. It creates a space where the noise can subside, allowing the mind to rest and the spirit to rejuvenate. Letting go of mental noise does not mean eliminating thoughts or silencing the mind entirely. The mind, by its nature, is designed to think, analyze, and process. Rather, letting go involves shifting our relationship with our thoughts, moving from a place of attachment and identification to one of observation and acceptance. Silence facilitates this shift, offering a way to step back and witness the mind without being consumed by it. In the stillness of silence, we begin to see thoughts for what they are, fleeting, impermanent, and often unworthy of the weight we give them. Section 3. Cultivating a peaceful environment. A peaceful environment is not merely a physical space. It is a reflection of the harmony within ourselves. It is both a sanctuary we create around us and a state of being we nurture inside us. Cultivating such an environment begins with understanding that peace is not a passive state but an active practice. It requires intention, effort, and a willingness to align our surroundings and habits with the rhythms of stillness and silence. By doing so, we create conditions that foster clarity, balance, and a deeper connection to life. The cultivation of a peaceful environment often starts with the spaces we inhabit, our homes, workplaces, and even the digital environments we engage with are all extensions of our inner world. When these spaces are cluttered, noisy, or chaotic, they amplify stress and distract from the quietude we seek. To cultivate peace, we must first examine these spaces with a discerning eye. What elements contribute to harmony, and what disrupts it? This inquiry is not about achieving perfection, but about creating intentional spaces that support our well-being. One of the most effective ways to cultivate a peaceful physical environment is to simplify it. A cluttered room often mirrors a cluttered mind, and the process of decluttering can be a powerful act of alignment. By letting go of excess possessions and organizing what remains, we create a sense of order and openness. This openness invites stillness, allowing the mind to rest and recharge. Simplicity is not about deprivation, but about choosing what truly serves us, both functionally and emotionally. In a simplified space, each object holds purpose and meaning, contributing to an atmosphere of calm. Chapter 7. Quiet Strength in Leadership and Decision-Making. Section 1. The Power of Pausing. In the high-pressure world of leadership and decision-making, the ability to pause is often undervalued, even overlooked. Leaders are frequently expected to act swiftly, make decisions on the spot, and respond immediately to challenges and crises. Yet, The true strength of a leader often lies not in their speed, but in their ability to deliberately pause, reflect, and approach situations with clarity and purpose. Pausing is not a sign of hesitation or weakness. It is a demonstration of quiet strength, a testament to a leader's confidence and control over their environment and decisions. Section 2. Leading through quiet confidence. Leadership is often associated with outward displays of authority, commanding voices, bold declarations, and visible actions that leave no room for doubt. Yet some of the most impactful leaders in history have led not through noise but through quiet confidence. This type of leadership, grounded in authenticity, humility, and an unshakable sense of purpose, exerts a transformative influence that inspires trust, fosters collaboration, and drives meaningful change. Quiet confidence is not about being passive or reserved. It is about leading with a calm strength that speaks louder than words. At the heart of quiet confidence lies a deep self-awareness. Leaders who embody this quality understand their strengths and limitations, as well as the values and principles that guide their decisions. This self-awareness creates a foundation of authenticity, enabling them to lead in a way that is true to who they are rather than conforming to external expectations. When leaders are authentic, they radiate a sense of integrity and reliability that naturally earns the respect of those around them. People are drawn to leaders who are real, who lead not through posturing or pretense but through a genuine commitment to their vision and their team. Quiet confidence also reflects a leader's ability to remain composed under pressure. In the face of challenges, uncertainty, or even failure, a leader with quiet confidence exudes a sense of calm that reassures their team and reinforces collective resilience. This composure is not about suppressing emotions or pretending that everything is under control. It is about maintaining perspective and demonstrating trust in the team's ability to navigate adversity. By staying grounded, such leaders create a stable environment in which others feel safe to express concerns, explore solutions, and take risks without fear or judgment. Section 3. Silence as a source of innovation. Innovation thrives in the spaces where conventional thinking pauses, where the rush to solve a problem gives way to deeper contemplation. Silence, often misunderstood as a lack of action or creativity, is one of the most powerful tools for sparking innovation. It provides the mental and emotional space needed to explore ideas without distraction, to challenge assumptions, and to let intuition and insight emerge. For leaders, fostering silence, both individually and within teams, can unlock new perspectives, ignite creativity, and lead to groundbreaking solutions. In a world that prioritizes speed and efficiency, silence often feels counterproductive. Leaders are expected to act decisively, meetings are filled with constant discussion, and brainstorming sessions are marked by a flurry of ideas. While these approaches have their value, they can also create an environment where deeper, more transformative ideas are stifled. Silence interrupts this frenetic pace, offering a pause where creativity can flourish. In these quiet moments, the mind has the freedom to wander, to connect disparate thoughts, and to imagine possibilities that might otherwise go unnoticed. Chapter 8. Building a Life of Silent Strength. Section 1. Sustaining Silence in a Noisy World. In a world that grows noisier every day, sustaining silence may seem like an impossible feat. The constant buzz of technology, the ceaseless demands of work and social life, and the relentless pace of modern living all conspire to fill every moment with sound and activity. Yet, silence is not the absence of noise but the presence of stillness, a state that can be cultivated even in the most chaotic environments. To sustain silence in a noisy world is to embrace a way of living that prioritizes mindfulness, balance, and intentionality, a life grounded in the quiet strength that silence offers. The first step in sustaining silence is recognizing its value. Silence is not merely a passive state of doing nothing. It is an active practice that nourishes the mind, body, and spirit. It provides a sanctuary where we can retreat from the noise of the world and reconnect with our inner selves. In silence, we find clarity, creativity, and peace, qualities that are often drowned out by the cacophony of modern life. When we understand the profound benefits of silence, we begin to prioritize it, making space for stillness even in the busiest of days. Section 2. The ripple effect of silence. Silence, by its very nature, is unassuming. It does not call attention to itself, nor does it demand recognition. Yet, its impact is profound and far-reaching, extending well beyond the individual who practices it. Silence, when embraced and cultivated, creates ripples that move outward, influencing not only the self but also relationships, communities, and the broader world. These ripples of silence carry with them the power to inspire change, foster understanding, and build connections that transcend words. The transformative effects of silence ripple outward, quietly yet powerfully shaping the environments and lives they touch. The ripple effect of silence begins within. When a person cultivates silence, they create space for self-awareness, clarity, and inner peace. This inner stillness is not confined to the individual. It radiates outward, influencing how they engage with others and navigate the world. A person who has embraced silence carries a calmness and steadiness that is palpable, even in the most chaotic situations. Their presence becomes a grounding force, providing reassurance and stability to those around them. This personal transformation sets the stage for silence to ripple outward, creating a chain reaction of calm and connection. Section 3. Embracing silence as a lifestyle. Silence is more than a fleeting respite from the noise of the world. It is a way of living that transforms how we engage with ourselves, others, and the larger world around us. To embrace silence as a lifestyle is to choose intention over distraction, depth over superficiality, and presence over constant activity. It is to cultivate a life where stillness is not an interruption but a rhythm, a steady undercurrent that nourishes and sustains every moment. This way of living is both a commitment and a liberation, offering a path to clarity, peace, and profound connection. At its core, embracing silence as a lifestyle begins with a shift in perspective. Silence is often misunderstood as emptiness or absence, something to be avoided or filled. But when we reframe silence as presence, as an active and vibrant state of being, we begin to see its richness. Silence becomes a space for reflection, creativity, and discovery, a fertile ground where insights grow and emotions settle. It is in this space that we reconnect with our inner selves, rediscovering the wisdom and strength that are often overshadowed by the noise of daily life. Conclusion. As we come to the close of this exploration, it is time to reflect on the journey we have taken together, a journey into the profound power and potential of silence. Along the way, we have uncovered truths that are both timeless and urgent. In a world dominated by noise, where distractions and demands threaten to erode our sense of self, silence emerges as a sanctuary. It is not an empty void but a space brimming with possibility, a canvas upon which we can sketch our thoughts, refine our actions, and shape our lives with clarity and purpose. Throughout these pages, we have examined silence from multiple perspectives, seeing it not as a passive absence but as an active force. It is a tool for clarity, a medium for creativity, and a source of strength that anchors us in the whirlwind of modern living. Silence is a teacher that challenges us to listen, to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. It urges us to step back, to reflect, and to approach life with greater intention and depth. This journey has not been about retreating from life, but about engaging with it more fully, finding the courage to live authentically and meaningfully.